Hello, biology class. This is going to be a review on the metric system ladder. First, I would like to discuss differences between a ruler and a metric meter stick and difference between inches and centimeters. So first, I'll take this bigger looking one, the brown one. This is a meter stick. It's a meter stick because it has 100 centimeters in it. So if you flip it over, then this is how you read the inches. And there's roughly 40 inches, 39 inches in 1 meter. But when we measure in here, we always want to use the metric side. So if we zoom in, let's say on 90, this would represent 90 centimeters. And then if you look between the 90 and the 91, there are 10 little dashes right here. These little dashes are called millimeters. So if we were looking at this point right here on the metric ruler, that would be 95 centimeters, or it would be 95 millimeters. So either 90.5 centimeters or 95 millimeters. With the ruler that we'll use quite a bit, this doesn't have it on front and back, it has it on both sides. So if I'm going to zoom back out, so on the top of this would be inches, and of course there's 12 inches in a foot. And then if you flip it over, then this is where you get to the centimeter side, and there's roughly 30 centimeters in a foot. But the same rules apply. If we zoom in, let's say 19 centimeters, and 19 centimeters is at this point right there, then if I wanted to go 4 millimeters past, that would read 19.4 centimeters, or it would read 194 millimeters. And we'll explain on how to convert. But when we are using rulers in here, we always want to use the metric side. So we don't want to use the side with inches. Okay? No deal. So what I need you to do now is to find this metric conversion ladder sheet that you received in class. So I'll give you a quick second to locate that, and you're going to need something to write with. So if you don't have one, you can find a blank piece of paper, and then you can make the 7 step ladders that are already made for you. Just make sure the one in the middle is the one that gets the base. So you should have 3 steps right of the base, and you should have 3 steps left of the base. So here's what we're going to add. The word kilo actually means 1,000. So go ahead and put the number 1,000 above kilo. And then every time you take a step to the right, you're going to actually increase the number of decimal points you're going to have. So we will only use the kilo, the base, the centi, and the milli. We are not going to use the deci and the hecca and deca, which we'll get to later, but we don't have to use it. But pretty much this step means it's 1,000. This step refers to 100. This step is 10. And then you have a base. So as you move farther to the right, you decrease. So this one is going to be 1/10. And another way to write 1/10 is 0.1. And then as you move to centi, centi is 1/100, or it's 0.01. And then if you move to milli, milli is 1/1000th, or it would be 0.001. And I'll show you how to navigate through these here in a second. But let's focus in on the base. there are three base units of measurement in the metric system. One is going to be the length. One is going to be volume. And the third one is going to be mass. So we have a base unit of length, a base unit of volume, and a base unit of mass rather. So the base unit of length in the metric system is going to be a meter. The base unit of volume in the metric system is going to be the liter, L-I-T-E-R. But with volume, there's two types. You could have volume of a liquid and you could have volume of a solid. So for volume of a solid, like say a cube or a dice or a box, like you get delivered from Amazon, that has a volume. The volume of a solid is length times width times height. And the unit is going to be in cubic centimeters. All right. That would be a centimeter times a centimeter times a centimeter gives us centimeters cubed. So here's the important analogy. For volume, 1 milliliter is the same as 1 cubic centimeter. And you can go back and forth. That's how you go back and forth between solids and liquids. For mass, the base unit of mass in the metric system is the gram. Now, for the gram, the symbol or the unit is a lowercase g. For the volume, it's a lowercase l. And for the meter, it's a lowercase m. Now, here's how this works. You are given a certain set of data. For example, let's say that we are given, let's start up here. Here's our example. Let's say that you are given 15 centimeters. Okay. And you want to convert to millimeters. So you might see a problem that looks like this. 15 centimeters equals blank millimeters. So your job is to find out how many decimal spots you have to move it. So the rule is for each step left, you move the decimal point 1 step to the left. And for each step right, you move the decimal point 1 step to the right. Well, it's easy if you have a decimal point to start with. So let's do another example. Let's say I want to go 12.2 centimeters equals how many millimeters? That could be my question. So that's easy. I start my decimal point, 12.2, and then for me to go from centimeter to millimeter, I find centi to milli means going 1 step to the right, 1 step down to the right. So what that means is if I'm going to the right, for each step right, move the decimal point 1 step to the right. So I just find my decimal point, 12.2, and now I'm going to move it 1 step to the right. And now that's going to be 122 centimeters or millimeters. So that's easy to do when you find the decimal point. If you got to move it left, then you just move it left. So, well, what if you're not given a decimal point? So what you have to do is you should rewrite this value here, write this value of 15 centimeters, write it with a decimal so it still has the same value. So if I write it as 15.000 centimeters even, that doesn't change the value. That is still 15. The only way it's not 15 is if I put it as 1.5 or 0.15 or 0.15. If I write it like that, then this loses the value of 15. But if I put the decimal after the 5, it retains the value of 15. So that's how you do it just add zeros to the whole number, and now you can move it to the right. So 15 centimeters is really 15.0. So centi to milli is going from one step to the right. So I want to move my decimal one step to the right. And now it's going to put here so that it should be 150. And it works the same way when you go to the left. So if I have, and let's do this third example here. Let's say I have 412 centimeters, and I want to know how many meters that is. So if I start at centi, for me to go from centi to milli, or I mean centi to meter, which is my base, it means I'm going up 1, up 2. So I'm going 2 spots to the left. So again, I need to put my decimal to where it still has the same value. So I'd put it after the 2, then I would just add a couple zeros. Now if I move 2 spots to the left, it's going to be 4.12. Again, for every step left, you move the decimal 1 step to the left, and for every step right, you move 1 decimal to the right. All you need to know is where you're starting and where you're finishing, and just be able to count the steps and move the decimals. There's an assignment called the metric conversion worksheet that'll be in Google Classroom. So make sure you do that and send it back in before the next time we meet, please, so we can go over it. All right. Have a good day.